Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Prospect Central 101. My name is Chris, and today with me I have,
Braden.
and we are going to be doing our, well, not annual because this is the first time we've done one, but,
Technically,
um,
we could call it the first annual.
sure, okay, yeah. Our first, well, I guess I should say for us, at least
Yeah,
me, day of,
yeah.
the NFL draft, mock draft. So, for this, the board that you guys will be seeing for now is the predictive board. I haven't imported mine into TDN yet. I'm in the process of doing that, probably within the next couple hours. For now, do you want to do a one rounder or do you want to do two?
Uh,
I guess doing one would be faster.
it's up to you. I don't care either. Well, do one.
Okay. So yeah, for now we'll be just focusing on one round.
Yeah,
And
we
I
can
have it
go.
set to control all the teams.
Fun.
So that way, like we can use all our picks and everything else like that. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
of course, Arizona on the clock, 8 p.m. Eastern time on 25th, Thursday. Thoughts on their needs? And just like briefly, like, I mean, is there anything missing? Is there anything that you want to add?
I mean, yeah, I'd agree that it's their needs. Basically, everybody but the Arizona Cardinals thinks that they should go with an edge, or an IDO. I've heard some rumors like today that they may go Quinn and Williams at number one, which I think is interesting over
Yeah,
Bosa and Kyler.
yeah, it's definitely something to consider. And honestly, how do you feel about Rosen?
I feel like they should give him a chance because the stuff he was given with is absolutely like poor. Like I'm pretty sure he could have had better success if they put his UCLA team in Arizona. Like it was terrible. So I understand Kingsbury wants his guy, but I feel like Rosen will do just fine.
Cool.
And like in an air raid, I forgot who made this. Bucky Brooks. He made a good point. He's like a decent amount of times air raids aren't air raid quarterbacks aren't the ones who are, well, to be fair, nobody's really like Kyler, but the mobile type quarterbacks, they like to stay in the pocket and just let it go.
Mhm.
So I feel like if you give Rose an offensive line and some weapons, that he'll do just fine with, as good as someone can do with Cliff Kingsbury.
Cool. So, for this mock, let's just do it as if we're projecting the draft for tomorrow.
So
Who-
prediction,
Yes, who do you think Arizona takes?
I I'm gonna believe it's Kyler Murray until it's not.
Right there with you.
I don't personally. If I was the GM, I'd go with Bosa or Williams. But well, if I was the GM, I'd look to trade down if possible. But if you can't, I'd probably go with Bosa or Quinnen.
Yep. Also, by the way, we aren't doing trades in this. That
We
goes for
aren't.
no, that goes for you and viewers because TDN doesn't allow for trades.
Fair enough.
So for now, we're just gonna stick to as if these teams kept the pick.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so number two is the San Francisco 49ers.
yeah.
Needs are listed as corner, safety, edge, receiver. You guys can see all those over here on the left.
Yeah.
Is there anything there that you stands out, you agree with, disagree with, whatever?
Yeah, I is that in order of like what they think is their top need?
I would assume so.
I'd
Yes.
probably put edge as the most because it's like they don't really have that elite edge rusher, and it might behind quarterback. If you don't have an elite edge rusher, that's like your number one need. And obviously, uh, San Francisco has their quarterback, so I feel like they need to take care of an elite edge player. And so I think they're going to go with Bosa,
Cool. Anything?
which
Oh, yep. You go. That's what I was about to
which would
ask.
be kind of awkward with his tweets that he's sent out in the past.
Oh, I missed that. What happened?
Basically, he called San Francisco a third world country,
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say the team needs I don't believe are based on value. I do believe it's just in terms of talent. If that
Hmm.
makes a difference. So like that's
Yeah.
probably why edge isn't higher
Yeah.
because their CB situation is far worse than their edge situation.
Yeah.
So Easter Bosa?
Yeah.
Cool. Done with that. Now on to number 3, the New York Jets.
I feel
Anything
like this
needs?
could be there's a decent chance that this is like a trade down.
Yeah, I see Washington probably trading up here, but for now we're going to assume as if the Jets keep 3, and these are their listed needs.
I think it's gonna go Josh. I think they're gonna do Josh Allen if they stay.
Okay, anything needs-wise that you agree, disagree with?
Um,
Stands out?
I don't know why they have a quarterback there.
Backup.
Okay, I guess.
That's why it's so low. I don't even think they have a backup on the roster.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, no.
Because keep in
I
mind, like they build this for like the if you're doing a 7th rounder. So
fair enough.
round 1,
Yeah.
round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I they need to. They'll probably trade down, which is a pretty decent idea for them. They need a lot of help. But I think if they do stay there, they're gonna get Josh Allen, get that, not play the same role. They're not necessarily the same type of player, but kind of play in the spot that Anthony Barr was gonna play before he decided to go back at the last second.
Very interesting. Who's their DC? Do you remember off the top of your head?
It was whoever Miami's defensive coordinator was last year.
Miami's
No,
DC.
no, not Miami, DC. No, it's Greg Williams. I'm tripping.
Okay. Then, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
They
It's
had
DC.
Miami's OC. That's what I was thinking of.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty versatile on their end. So, fair enough.
Okay.
Number 4 is the first of Oakland's 3 picks. Here is a list of their needs. Anything again stands out? You see, you view as a need or the other way around?
No. Yeah. I mean, I agree with most of the needs. They have a lot of these spot on. So it's kind of hard because again, no one really knows what the Raiders are gonna do. At this point, I'm kind of convinced the Raiders don't know what the Raiders are gonna do.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see I could see them doing something to where if Kyler Murray gets to them, they're gonna take him like straight up, no cap.
Yep.
But I think they've also been rumored to have a lot of interest in Drew Lock.
Oh, okay.
I'm not necessarily thinking that's what they're gonna go, but it's like there's that. They could maybe go linebacker, I guess.
Interesting.
But honestly, with the Raiders, I think if they don't trade this pick, which I don't think they will, but if they don't trade this pick, I think they just go BPA, which in my opinion, and probably theirs, is Quinnen Williams.
Interesting. Okay, so what do you think about Ed Oliver?
He's pretty damn good.
Do you think he could be a fit for Oakland?
Yeah, I mean, he'd honestly be kind of a bit better fit because they have PJ Hall and Mo Hurst inside. So there.
Cool. A little bit off the radar, but
Yeah.
I actually think that that's quite possible because of Oliver's versatility. So, number 5 is Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another team possibly trading down in a better value spot for a linebacker.
But
and
yeah.
Any thoughts on their needs? Personally,
I feel like if they don't.
with.
What, quarterback?
No.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know every roster deep down, so I can't say some teams, what their exact needs are, but It just seems right.
One thing that stands out to me is defensive tackle. Obviously,
Yeah.
they took Bale last year, but I don't know how much longer McCoy's going to be there.
Um,
I would not
yeah.
be surprised if they go with the defensive tackle if they don't take Devin White.
Which, from everything I've heard, that's pretty much what's going to happen, I think.
Cool. So let's just skip right to it then. Thoughts on Devin White to Tampa?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they got rid of Quan Alexander. He left for San Francisco, so it's just they need that middle linebacker. So that's arguably the best. I'd say the highest upside of the top two guys. So I feel like if they need a guy in the middle of the defense, it makes sense.
Nice. Okay. Next up is the New York Giants. Both New York teams picking almost in the top 5. To be fair, the Giants probably should be picking in the top 5 based on their roster talent, especially without Odell. But there are their projected needs listed right there. Anything that stands out to you, you agree with, disagree with?
No, I mean, it makes sense.
Okay. So thoughts on player based on it? And of course VPA.
Yeah, I feel like it's possible they go Daniel Jones, but at the same time, I feel like if a player like, well, I don't know, Gettleman's pretty fucking stupid. So it's like, I hope for the Giants fans' sake they don't take Daniel Jones, but I kind of feel like they are. Well, I don't know. I feel like you passed him.
I know. I'm just scrolling down so you can see the whole list.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna go with. It's like they should, if this is how it plays out, they should be sprinting to get Quinnen Williams on the board. You know.
Probably, yeah.
But
So they
it's
do
just
run a 3-2-6 base.
I honestly.
I'm pretty sure it's a 3. I know it's a 3. I just don't want
I
to
know
call it
it's a
3-4.
3. I don't know if it's a. I know it's a 3, and
It's a 3
especially with not having Snacks Harrison there, I feel like that's a good fit.
They already have Delvin Tomlinson, which is a big reason why they traded Snacks in the first place.
True. All right. Nick Norris is probably going to want to strangle us, but let's go with and Abby is probably going to strangle us too.
I'm gonna suggest something else.
Oh.
What do you think about Rashawn Gary?
He's decent. Definitely has good upside.
There's been a lot of talk about them going edge.
At the same time, I feel
in a 3 front, I really like Gary at 3-4 end, 3 front end.
My thing is that he needs surgery on what was he got hurt, like his shoulder.
Yeah.
Labrum, yeah. So I feel like he's gonna drop a bit. So it makes perfect sense that the Giants will take him.
So should we do it?
Well, why not?
Okay, cool. Rashawn Gary, number 6. And of course, there's a couple other edges I thought about there too. Montez Sweat is an option. Brian Burns is an option.
Yeah.
I just think that in a 3 front, that Gary makes the most sense at end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next up is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Thoughts here? Starting with needs, if there's anything you want to point out there.
Hold on, I want to go look at their roster. Because didn't they cut Malik Jackson, I'm pretty sure? Or they were going to?
I don't remember if they actually did or not.
Uno momento. I will peep at this. Roster. Okay, one sec. Depth chart. I don't care about our lands. Let's see. According to this, they still. No, it looks like they got rid of him.
Who's their defensive tackles? Or tackle?
They are on a 4-3, so.
Okay, they're 2 defensive tackles.
So they have R.B. Jones, Marcel Darius, and also Taven Bryan, who they drafted last year.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I forgot about Taven Bryan.
So it's like, They need. I don't.
Darius and Brian is pretty solid.
Huh? There. It's just I don't know. Let's see. How's Darius looking exactly? He's 29. What's his contract looking like?
Big.
Oh, I was looking more for length than actual money. It doesn't matter. So it's like I feel like they could be definitely a candidate to go offensive line here.
Okay, I like that. Juwan Taylor?
Yeah, why not?
Cool.
This is one of where it's like I don't really know what they're gonna do.
Honestly, I think it's really between Taylor and Hawkinson.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Taven Bryan, Quentin Williams just for pure BPA. It wouldn't
Me
surprise
neither.
me, but we'll go Juwan Taylor here.
So obviously, if this were the actual way that the draft fell, I'm obviously going to give us Quinn Williams
Quentin,
in this mock.
yeah.
But for the sake of other discussions and things of that sort, we'll talk about some of the other possibilities for Detroit as well. Possible talk earlier yesterday from Daniel Jeremiah that we're looking at taking a quarterback. For me, it's between Locke and Haskins.
I feel like taking a quarterback round one would be cold. Like that just seems heartless thing to do.
I mean, it makes sense though, because as soon as next year Stafford's contract becomes tradable, and as much as I love Matt, you never know when he's going to break down. You never know when he's going to retire. He's taking a lot of hits. It seems like he's hurt every year. He plays through it a lot. But I mean, what was it last year? Broken ribs or something?
Yeah.
It seems like every year he's playing through some sort of significant injury. The one year he made the playoffs against Seattle, he had broken finger. Like every year, he's always really banged up. He just happens to play through it. One of these years, he's going to break down. And honestly, considering the tenure that we're in now with Patricia Quinn, the chances that we pick top 10 again without trading up, hopefully for the rest of their tenure, I'm sure they're thinking about this too, are slim at best. I mean, this is going to be one of those teams where hopefully for the rest of the time that they're here, we're picking in the 20s at worst. So you're kind of thinking, well, how many quarterbacks in the future are going to fall to the 20s? So the value of a quarterback in the top 10 makes a lot of sense. Also, receiving threats right now are not really reliable. Kenny G is a pretty decent number one. Of course, he has room to develop into more than that, but in the short term, he's probably below average top 20 to top 30 receiver in the league. TJ Hawkinson, we need a tight end. We only have 2 tight ends on the roster at the moment. And one of them is Michael Roberts, who's a pure red zone threat, and the other is Jesse James, who's also predominantly red zone threat.
And a blocker.
Yeah. Hawkinson will be able to play from 20 to 20, which is something that would be huge for the offense, especially under Bevel. Edge rusher, talked a lot about that throughout the year. Definitely still in 80, even though we have Trey Flowers, mostly for depth and rotational purposes.
But I'm not in the mood of taking rotational players top 10.
When it's a pass rusher, though,
Yeah.
same thing as Hawkinson. Really just depends on what you think of as a better fit. I'm actually going to skip over that one for a second. Christian Wilkins is another guy that's been getting a lot of hype lately. Mostly a high character guy who really fits that kind of perspective of what we're looking for in Detroit. Quinn, one of those guys, loves to draft his captains round one. I think every single one of his first rounders has been a captain, at least 1 year. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And Christian Wilkins definitely fits the character mold, as well as any depth in the interior with an interior run defender. Offensive lineman is a need. I don't necessarily think it would be a tackle like Dillard. It would be more Jonah Williams. And there's been a lot of hype around him the last week or so. Not as much in the last 24 to 48 hours, but like the last 3 to 4 days ago, over the weekend, there was quite a bit of talk about him to Detroit. Montez Sweat, Cody Ford, Grady Williams is another guy that's been getting a lot of hype lately. as well. Possibly cornerback 1. However, the tackling is a concern of some kind. So if we believe we can teach him to tackle and develop his willingness to tackle, more importantly, he could be a really good fit for Detroit opposite Darius Slay. Our corner 2 situation right now is probably one of the worst in the league, if not the worst in the league.
It's a tough scene.
Yeah, and that's not really saying anything about the potential there, because Tease can still develop technically. He's still young. And Rashawn Melvin has potential and upside there. So, a couple trade down options. Nasir Adderley could be a fit in a trade down. And obviously, we're a team that's looking to trade down too. Final guy I want to talk about first, though, is, of course, Devin Bush. In fact, the last 24 hours, actually specifically the last 12 hours, he's been a really hot name here. He said in an interview with the Free Press, it might have been the Detroit News, it was at least one of the two, that the Lions told him, like, we really, really like you. We're considering pulling the trigger if you fall to 8. And I think that that's really dependent on Josh Allen and Quinn Williams falling, and possibly Nick Bosa. I think he is probably 4, 5, maybe 6 on the board, depending on what you think about Jung and Greedy. But regardless, he's someone that I think is very, very high on the board.
If the Lions take Greedy Williams over Devin Bush, I will consider ending my fandom. Like, that would be a disaster. That would be terrible. That would be a bad decision.
I see. The one thing you have to consider with that, though, is who do you really trust more between Christian Jones and Rashawn Melvin, or Tease Tabor, or Mike Ford, or
I
whoever you
trust
view
Rashawn
as.
Melvin over Christian Jones.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, Devin Bush hot in the last 12 hours specifically, and honestly, you guys all who checked out our videos on Bush, I was a huge fan of that. And if Quinn didn't fall in our mock, that would be where I would end up going.
Yeah.
But
But
of course, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this whole thing, in this particular mock, Quinn fell, and BPA here is way too good to pass up.
yeah.
So there we go. Next, on to the Buffalo Bills. Thoughts here?
I think they go offensive tackle or offensive line just because it's a bad offensive line, and they need to. They have their Josh Allen, who, to be fair, looks better than this year already than I expected him to be. So he's definitely showing some of the higher end parts of his potential. So I feel like he's your guy. You got to protect him.
Thoughts on getting a weapon for him, maybe, with DK? I
That
agree.
also
I'm
can be.
probably going to go offensive line, but just as a discussion point.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's an option, but to be fair, they did give John Brown and Cole Beasley a decent amount of money for both of them. Like,
interesting.
So I think it's definitely possible, and I wouldn't be against it. It's just unless like a Quinnen Williams or like Ed not like a Quinnen Williams or something,
as well.
or Ed Oliver falls, they really need to go offense. And the name I've been hearing that the Bills really like is Jonah Williams. That's so if I'm obviously, but yeah, that's what I'd go here.
Cool. Makes a lot of sense. Top 10 caliber guy in terms of value.
Yeah.
So, I took the ring on Lions one. Your turn.
All right. So a lot of talk the last 24 to needs. Yeah, quarterback is Joe Flacco. I know John Elway has said he's entering his prime, which clearly Elway's been taking. Which, to be fair, he may already be on the magic shrooms.
I mean, Joe Flacco is about as much in his prime as John Elway is.
Yeah. So we need a future quarterback. Like, it's just not negotiable. So if we do go quarterback, unless Kyler Murray falls, which a Laramie Tunsil thing would have to happen, where he gets hit with like a video of him doing the gas mask.
I would say it would be more similar to last year with the Josh Allen tweets, but fair enough.
That didn't even do really much, you know? Yeah. So it's like I don't know if we'd pull the trigger. It's just, but in the last, I'd say 24 to 36 hours, the popular name in Denver that we may take is Devin Bush.
So is that where you're going?
I don't. It's like Fangio. It's just I honestly don't know. It's also possible we do trade down. Just another option I've been hearing. Just this may be like a worst case doomsday scenario to where Locke, Bush, Haskins are gone and no one wants to trade up. Is T.J. Hawkinson? He's a guy that I've heard we like. And I think honestly, if the position value of a tight end was higher, I'd be fully on board with taking Hawkinson.
Yeah.
But
too many other needs.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if we take Drew Lock, but if you told me, put me on the spot, like who do I think we go? I think it'll probably be Devin Bush.
Cool. Over Haskins?
Yeah.
All right, time to give you Daniel Jones. Nope, just kidding.
I'd go and fight. I'd go fight John Elway if that happened. If we took him at 10, I'd fight him.
Okay, so on to Keegan's team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Needs here listed as linebacker, offensive line.
Tackle. Yeah, line. Yeah.
Tight end, QB.
Yeah.
QB is interesting, but okay.
I mean, I've heard that they don't want to take a QB round 1. Unless, so I don't think that's going to... Unless, for, say, Haskins falls to, like, 20-something, like the late 20s, and they trade back up into round 1,
That would be interesting.
That'd be interesting, but yeah. Like, at 11, I don't think they're going to take a quarterback. So, with Bush and White gone, I think the most logical place to go is offensive line. And a guy who, from the Bengals reporters, who's basically been bang on for their picks, in the past decade, is Andre Dillard. So, basically, if the scenario... and Jonah, but with the scenario with Jonah not there, Bush, White not there, I think they'll go Andre Dillard.
Right there with you. Next, Green Bay. Oh, I hate this so much, but
yeah,
whatever. Needs are safety and tight end is their top 2. That's a heck of a needs list.
That's an interesting need list.
Well, it just goes to show you how much Gutekunst has been able to turn the team around this year with LaFleur.
Yeah.
But, oh well, they have 2 picks. This is the first of them at 12. Any thoughts here?
I think this is a decent place where they need a tight end because Jimmy Graham isn't working out, which, screwed over my fantasy team last year, which was cheers to him for that.
To be fair, our dual team, we had Kelsey and Ertz, so that really worked out.
Well, to be fair, no one else really gave a damn about that league.
But continue.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, no. I feel like they need to give another weapon for Aaron Rodgers, and I feel like tight end is the most logical place to go, so I think T.J. Hawkinson would be a good place to slot him there.
Cool. So, what about Fant and Metcalf? Possible options?
They're definitely possible. It's just Hawkinson, for me, is more well-rounded and provides more than Fant, and I think he's personally better. He's safer as a prospect than Metcalf.
Yep. Okay.
He doesn't have the potential to go complete sicko mode and superhuman like Metcalf. But no, I feel like he's a safer prospect, so I feel like that's a good place they're going to go.
Fantastic. So, on to number 13, the Miami Dolphins, who need basically everything.
Yeah.
Thoughts on their possible options?
They should honestly just go best player available.
Okay.
That's just their roster is so terrible. Like that roster is horrific. Like let's go take a peep. Well, obviously you can't see this, but I'm gonna go at Miami. A name I've been hearing, kind of again. Obviously, none of this is confirmed. As
Oh yeah.
they may have some interest in Greedy Williams. That's a name I've
Oh,
been heard.
I was talking about this yesterday. I love him for them so much. I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, why not? We'll roll with it.
Him and Xavier Howard, obviously each other would be a really, really good corner duo, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on that.
Yeah,
Because Brian Flores really, again, like Patricia, comes from that Patriot scheme where they really value that corner play and that coverage. And giving him Creedy and Xavier Howard would be really, really good start to their coverage ability. Plus Minka, you're talking about one of the better cover teams in the
yeah.
league. So I think that that's a really good sleeper option that not a lot of people are talking about. That if that happens, that would be a really, really good pick on their part. But yes, next we move on to the Falcons, who are talking about trading up for Ed Oliver. Of
Which
course, in no trades situation, that's not entirely possible. So, thoughts on their pick here?
I feel like they're good. It's like Falcons going interior defensive line is kind of like one of the worst kept secrets. It just feels like that's the direction, unless they're throwing one of the best smoke screens ever.
Well, what else do they really need? Let's just start off with that.
Yeah, I mean they could definitely use another edge rusher, some corners, but really interior defensive line. That's just the need in Atlanta. So I feel like
And linebacker. I would
yeah,
actually put
linebacker.
personally linebacker over edge and corner.
Yeah, but there's
Because
no
edge
one.
they have Vic Beasley and Tank McKinley. They really need a two-down edge, like a Rashawn Gary
Yeah,
type. And
yeah.
corner, they at least still have Trufant and um, um,
Alford
yes. So they're
dropped the
really looking for more of
interception,
a nickel corner.
but yeah,
So like a Byron Murphy would be a better fit for them.
but with the line,
Oh, I actually like that too. Keep
yeah.
going.
I feel like the pick here is going to be Christian Wilkins. That's just
Yep.
another popular connection I've seen.
It makes way too much sense.
Yeah.
Now, as I just actually talked myself through, I wouldn't really rule out Byron Murphy. Dan Quinn, of course, former Seahawks defensive coordinator, zone type of scheme. Love the physicality out of the defensive back position. Saw with Keanu Neal, they're not really afraid to reach for guys who fit. Um, and Byron Murphy would be one of the better players on the board. I'm sure your board particularly.
Yeah.
So nickel corner could be a spot that they look to upgrade. I think they lost Brian Poole, right? I'm pretty sure they
I
cut Poole.
think so. That sounds right,
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure they cut Brian Poole, so they're looking for a nickel corner. I
so one
wouldn't. It
second.
would be a bit of a surprise again, like Greedy, to Miami, but like Brian Murphy pick makes a lot of sense there if they don't.
Oh, they don't even have Alford anymore.
Oh, they don't. Who's their corner too?
Isaiah Oliver.
Oh, okay. I forgot about him. Who's their nickel?
It this doesn't really list
Who's their third
Dick.
corner?
Um, Blitty Ray Wilson.
Oh, Bloody Red Wilson. Okay, so yeah, they need a nickel corner. I
They
wouldn't.
need a corner.
I wouldn't rule out Byron Murphy.
That'd be a fun. Yeah.
I'm actually going to do that in my personal log. I do later tonight. Anyway, moving on here. I think there's really only one or two options here.
Basically, Haskins or Jones.
Yep. And personally, I don't really think it's much of a debate. You kind of have to go
I think it's good.
Haskins.
Yeah, Haskins. Shout out to my guy Drew Lock, just kind of kicking it still. Carolina.
Yeah. So, talking with Carolina people, they're really looking at edges.
Cool.
And as you guys can see, Edge is listed as the top need. Also, loss of Julius Peppers. Mario Addison is
Musty.
so yeah. That's actually a really good word for it. So they're pretty much talking about the edges as well as safety. A lot of talk about the Nasir Adderley there, and that's why I gave them in our group mock I did with the Carolina people. And of course, offensive line interior particularly. I think they want to bring back Darrell Williams, so not really too much of a fan of offensive tackle early. But guard is something to keep a particular eye on. So yeah, assuming they keep Williams and Moten, I don't think that they're going to go offensive tackle. So really keeping an eye on edge, offensive, interior line, and and safety. Wide receiver, kind of more of a day 2, day 3 type of thing to pair with DJ Moore. And linebackers, I think, going to be mainly Kuechly and Shaq. So I wouldn't really bank on them going linebacker early either. So really, I'll leave the individual pickup to you, but in terms of position, I think you would like to go with an edge, Bradbury,
Yeah,
or Adderley.
that's what I was thinking. Edge, all the kind of too.
Okay,
And
so Burns,
personally,
Sweat,
I think
Farrell.
Brian Byrne. Oh, Farrell. I guess. Yeah, that's basically what edge fits them the best. That's kind of, and you know more about the Panthers than I do, so I'll kind of leave that
The
to you.
issue is that even the Panthers people don't really know what the Panthers are doing because at this point they're kind of talking about switching their scheme. And
Oh,
there's a lot of belief that they're switching to a Detroit-esque 4-2-3-3 hybrid,
all
similar
right.
to like what the Patriots run.
Yeah,
So it's kind of an unknown what exactly they're looking for. Um,
that's. I sure hope the Panthers know what they're looking for, because if they don't know, that's going to be a tough scene.
yeah, it's kind of, and that's why I gave them Adderley in the group talk that I did with them, and it was really between Adderley and Bradbury,
Yeah.
simply so I wouldn't really have to think a lot about that type of question.
Uh,
But yeah, Farrell's a
let's
pretty popular pick because he's from Clemson mainly.
let's kind of change things up. Go with Burns.
Okay.
Just why not?
I do think Sweat's gonna fall.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the Panthers fans like Sweat. I don't think the team really does. Brian Burns.
All right, moving on. Well, do we really need to do much here?
Next, Minnesota
Interior.
Vikings.
Yeah. I was like, do we really need to say anything about this one?
Well, we already talked a lot about the Giants needs and everything with
Yeah.
7-2 or 6-2. So
Also, I'm pretty sure there will be a hit put out by on Gettleman if they go Rashawn Gary and Daniel Jones. They shouldn't do it, but if they pass up on Quinnen Williams, that'd be pretty terrible.
Out of
So
Minnesota, pretty simple here for me. Offensive line is their one huge glaring weakness.
yeah,
Maybe defensive tackle, but even then they still have Linval Joseph. So, I mean, it's kind of more of like a rotational depth need. Offensive line, their whole O line outside and maybe off line, and I think Grief is at least okay. The other three guys, all upgradable. So, with that being said, who's the best offensive lineman here? And let's just move on.
Bradbury.
Cool. Okay, Tennessee, difficult pick here because again they kind of run that versatile Patriots-esque scheme on defense with Mike Vrabel as their their defensive. Oh my gosh, their head
Head
coach.
coach. There you go.
Uh, uh, so, yeah, their head coach Mike Vrabel, and they also need a couple of offensive players as well. Wide receiver, I think, is a little bit overrated as a need. Tight end, they still, at least in the short term, have Delaney Walker. So I think that's more like a develop a guy behind him need more than a day one starter need. And quarterback behind Mariota, safety behind Biard. Yeah, those are kind of much lesser needs for later in the draft. I really think that you're kind of looking at an edge here, or possibly an interior lineman. So personally, for me, I think that Sweat is an interesting fit, but it really comes down to what you think about the heart issue. because the one thing that really stood out to me about Montez Sweat when going through his tape was the stamina and conditioning. It was the one huge knock I had on him. In fact, I actually gave him round 2 grade at that point with an orange concern. Because of that, solely by itself, he was really out of condition at Mississippi State. And the usage was so inconsistent with him. He'd be in on 1st and 10 one play, 3rd and 3 the next play, 2nd and 10 the next play, 3rd and 7 the next play. It was so wildly inconsistent. And like, okay, if you're using a guy as a rotational pass rusher, you want to see them in every 3rd down situation, rushing the passer, or whatever. That's their role. That's the niche that's carved out for them. If you want to see like a Rashawn Gary, okay, 1st and 2nd down, run defending edge, defensive end. Cool, that's the role, that's the niche that's carved out for them. With Sweat, it wasn't really like that, and the vibes were kind of like, why is this so random? They're just putting him on the field whenever they feel like it. Now, a couple days before the draft, we see why with the heart issue, and I think that plays a very significant factor in why that was the case. I'm guessing they took him out when he was having on-the-field issues with that conditioning. So
To be fair, they didn't bring it up as much of a concern, when because the combine let him do his drill, so they didn't think it was enough of a concern.
I don't think it's enough of a concern in short bursts, like a 40-yard dash. Cool, it's one event.
Yeah.
Or like jumps or whatever. You're not really using that as a consistent stream of energy over 60 minutes. Whereas an actual live game, that's one of the differences between combine and pro day versus actual game, like a Senior Bowl event, right? Like that's where the Senior Bowl should be weighted versus a combine. And honestly, I don't even remember what he did in the Senior Bowl. Did he skip the Senior Bowl?
Who? Sweat? I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that the athleticism is off the charts, and he's able to and good to go for all that. And he has a lot of the traits, but can you really trust him as a 3-down player? Me personally, no.
All right.
So I do like the fit there, but I'll leave that one up to you. Otherwise, you're really looking at probably Farrell, Chase Winovich, or an interior lineman.
I mean,
Cody Ford, maybe.
It's like
Noah Fant, if you want to give them a 2 tight end look, I guess could work perhaps.
They're not the Ravens.
Marquise Brown, if you want to go with the guy to go inside to pair with Corey Davis.
Byron
Murphy, if you want to go with nickel.
Sweat. Why not?
Okay. Where was he at? He's higher.
Higher.
Alrighty. Pittsburgh. A lot of interest in Devin Bush. Personally, no way he falls. So, same thing with Devin White. If he's there at 20, which isn't going to happen,
he would have to practically die for that to happen.
So, with those 2 guys off the board, I think you might be able to rule out linebacker. There's one guy I'm personally high on that I think could be a surprise fit. And one thing to remember about last year, keep in mind where Pittsburgh went with their first rounder. They went way off.
To Narnia. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Terrell Edmonds wasn't even there for the draft because he got invited himself. He was there to support Jermaine, and he happened to get picked, so they're like, hey, fuck it, go up the stage. They're like, what?
Yeah, he was like a day 3 type of guy. So it wouldn't entirely surprise me if they go about 20 to 25 picks off the board here. With a guy like, to me, who I have actually personally around the same area as Devin White, and Blake Cashman.
I've heard that both shoulders got major red flags at the combine. Like, it was bad enough to where half the teams took him off the board completely.
For Cashman?
Yeah.
Dang, that sucks. Okay. I'm going to have to edit that then. So, with that in mind, I guess, wide receiver, to replace Antonio Brown opposite Juju.
I think that would be it would be complete great. It would be fantastic irony if they took Marquise Brown, who's his cousin. I think that would be some great irony. I
Okay.
don't think it's gonna happen. No, I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm just saying that'd be glorious to see.
It would be very interesting. Corner also need opposite, well, or alongside, however you think of it, Artie Burns.
Byron Murphy, I think that could be a nice. Well, do they run zone or man to man?
Zone.
Yeah, I
Shaman and
think
Dick will
Byron.
go zone blitz, aggressive.
Okay. Yeah, I think Byron Murphy's probably the go-to guy here.
Cool. I know Dick LeBeau's not there, but let's be real, they're not changing that scheme.
No.
So, Byron?
Yes.
Alrighty. 21. Seattle Seahawks.
Josh Jacobs. I'm joking, because, they took Rashad Penny last year, which was just the most random-ass pick ever.
Personally, I think Byron Murphy is way too good a fit for them.
But, he's not there.
That's who I'm going to go with in my personal mock.
Yeah.
There's also one other guy that I think is a really good fit for them.
Who?
Mr. Adderley.
Okay.
To replace Earl Thomas.
That's fine. Go ahead. I'm down with it.
Well, I'm just going through options.
Yeah.
And of course, as I mentioned, safety talking with Earl Thomas gone. Also, now that Frank Clark is gone, edge is huge for them. So you could also see a guy like Cleveland Farrell maybe be a little bit of a surprise fit here, following the Frank Clark trade. So that's something to keep in mind. Corner, as I mentioned with Byron Murphy, zone guy to replace Justin Coleman, and actually they needed a nickel zone guy who's really aggressive, physical, which is why I'm going with Byron. He's basically the most ideal fit ever for them.
Yeah.
From Washington is even a bigger boat. It just makes way too much sense if he's there. Also, offensive line is still a need for them, even with Cable gone. So that could also be a super surprise pick if you want to go way off the board. But I think it's really between Adderley and Farrell, so make your pick. Braden?
Do Adderley.
Okay. My comp for him is actually Earl Thomas, by the way.
It's fine.
Cool. So next up here we have. Oh, by the way, that's their first of two picks. I didn't see that.
Shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs for trading a first-round pick when they could have had someone who is, not the giving up a first-round pick and playing Frank Clark. Yeah, and the second
and the third.
They swapped thirds.
Oh, well, yeah.
So yeah, basically they give up a first and second to get Frank Clark $100 million when they could have kept all their picks and paid D Ford probably not that much money.
So since you brought that up, actually, I was going to talk about this more in 29.
Yeah.
But the main thing that they did that is D Ford is a brutal run defender. Kansas City last year was the worst run defending team of the decade, if not the history of the league. And it was abysmal. So what they did was they fired their defensive coordinator, Sutton. They brought in one of the best run defending coordinators in the history of the league, and Steve Spagnuolo, who runs a 4-3. So they're switching from a 3-4 aggressive pass rush type of system to a 4-3 run defense type system, basically completely turning their defense on its heels. And so they're really looking for more of a run defending 4-2 type of defensive end, which Frank Clark is a perfect fit for, and D Ford is your more 3-4 pass rushing aggressive linebacker.
Right.
So in terms of scheme, it makes a ton of sense, but in terms of value, I agree that was way too much. So yes, 22 with Baltimore Ravens.
This has got to be DK here.
What do you think about Noah Fant? Just kidding.
If they did that, I would be fucking great.
BPA, arguably, for what it's worth. Not entirely joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's way too out of the needs list to go for a tight end.
Yeah.
Linebacker, again, maybe a trade up for Devin Bush or Devin White if they somehow slip. Honestly, Devin Bush would be. Oh, I would love to see him in Baltimore or Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But Baltimore would be such a great fit for him too. Kind of filling that void that Ray Lewis left there, that CJ Mosley now left there. He could be that next guy for them.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. But for now, they're both way off the board. Wide receiver with DK or Hollywood, if you wanted to go that route, or
From what
offensive line.
in the past, I've heard that Hollywood doesn't fit what they have, what they already have. So I think DK.
Cool. Falls quite a bit to the 20s after his combine, which is interesting. But durability concerns as well as his incredibly horrific agility times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, another pretty easy guess here as to what Houston's going to do. Not necessarily a specific player, but in terms of position, similar to Minnesota, you almost have to go offensive line here. Protect Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts on any other potential fix before we talk about the O-lineman?
I think they could do corners. Go
Anyone
with like
particular?
if a Byron Murphy falls or something, but with them gone, I think this is going to be offensive line.
Cool. Any particular offensive lineman that stand out to you? They have Cody Ford as the highest, but there's a couple of other guys left here as well.
From Carson, he said the highest. This is basically on what we think would happen.
Yeah.
Basically, what I've heard is that the Texans are really high on Titus Howard, and they may take him. And like on the board, he listed he was the highest guy remaining.
Interesting. Okay. Then we shall do it.
Which, by the way, I don't think would be a good pick, but
for what it's worth, he's a top 5-ish offensive tackle in the class. In
yeah.
terms of like counting Williams as a guard, Ford as a guard, Risner as a center.
Yeah.
Like all those types of guys, he's a top 5 pure offensive tackle in the class. So it's not the worst thing in the world. It would be a little bit of a reach, but I mean, honestly, I see a lot of similarities with him to Teron Armstead on tape, the Saints offensive tackle. Both a lot of upside, small school competition. He could be that Marcus Davenport type of small school sleeper this year that everyone talks about next year being a lot better than we think. So, I'm not completely opposed to that. But honestly, moving on to the Raiders, he's a better pick than Colton Murray Miller was last year.
Yeah.
So with that transition, Oakland's second pick.
I think that they're gonna. I think if he got to 24, I think they would go with Drew Lock.
Yep. Okay, 25. Philadelphia Eagles.
Noah Fant.
Who's
No,
their
I'm
second
joking.
tight end?
I don't know. Dallas Goddard.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, forget it.
Yeah, no, that was said as a joke.
Because I was gonna say if they didn't have, I forgot about Goddard being there for a minute. If they didn't have a second tight end, they're a team that loves those two tight end sets. Because they ran a lot with Trey Burton before they took Goddard last year. So
yeah,
that would have been interesting. But yeah, I forgot about Goddard. Okay. Next. Personally, there's one obvious fit here.
What is it?
Josh
Shoot
Jacobs.
it. Yeah, why not?
Now, of course, offensive tackle could be a need. One sleeper guy here is, I know that they're really high on their analytics, Howie Roseman. So one guy that I think could surprise a little bit here is Max Sharping, the offensive tackle from Northern Illinois. He'd be really nice step pick for them. And he's really, really analytically a beast. He's one of the most highly thought of analytics offensive tackles in the class. So that could be a little bit of a surprise pick tomorrow. I think people would kind of flip out about, oh, he was a reach, whatever. Ends up finding success with Philadelphia with good coaching. Similar to what we talked about with Titus Howard. A lot of upside there, being from a smaller school. Probably got paid on draft day. Banking on the upside, it could work out. So kind of a sleeper option for me to keep in mind there, but I think the really obvious pick here is Jacobs. Anyone else you want
Why
to talk
not?
about before I make it?
No,
Safety
go
is top.
ahead.
Safety is a top need. Any safeties that might stand out to you here? With
I mean,
Evans
I've
gone?
heard they have interest in guys like, well, not that they have interest, but the NFL was high on, in general, Savage, Abram. So, sir, some guys that may be taken round one.
Cool.
But yeah, Jacobs is
Taylor
fine.
Rapp I saw as well. Chauncey Gardner Johnson's probably safety too.
Yeah.
I actually really like that pick. I might have to steal that from my mock. But yeah, Josh Jacobs for me here, I think. Okay, next, Indianapolis Colts. Personally, for me, might sound hilarious right now, but in terms of actual practicality, I would be floored if they didn't trade down, or at least try to. Chris Ballard is probably, along with Belichick, the most pick-obsessed general manager ever. And honestly, any single chance that they get to trade down, I think they do. So,
What about this? Is just throwing stuff out. What about a trade like the Broncos? John Elway fucked up, pissed off Chris Harris. What if it's a thing where it's like we trade 41 and Chris Harris to the Colts for 26?
oh, that would be really interesting.
I'd
Colts need
personally
a
hate
corner.
it. Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. I might steal that idea on my personal mock. But
Hmm.
for now, of course, we're assuming the Colts keep the pick. I do think in real life they'll trade down one way or another. But for now, talking about the Colts, defensive tackle is a need for them. There's one guy there I particularly like for them. Wide receiver, same thing, big time need. There's a lot of good receivers left here.
Yeah.
Safety, also a pretty good need. As we just talked about, Chauncey Gardner Johnson, Abram, and Savage, all possibilities, and Rapp. Corners, you just mentioned with the possibility of a Harris trade, that's a big need for them. They have a lot of really big needs. They could also go with another edge rusher. Linebacker, they could improve next to Darius Leonard last year. So a lot of really good options for them, which is why I think they also trade down. But for
Yeah.
now, if they go with 26, who do you think they would take?
Probably defensive line, interior defensive guy.
Okay,
So like a Tillery or Dexter Lawrence.
that's my suggestion as well.
Yeah,
Is
Dexter
Dexter
Lawrence. Yeah.
Lawrence.
And by the way, just in a hypothetical situation where that trade would happen, which I'm not a fan of getting rid of Chris Harris but I feel like that would be as good as we can get. The two guys I hear we have a lot of interest in would be Dalton Reisner and DeAndre Baker.
Oh, okay. I like
So
the
just
Baker pick.
throwing, that would be two things we could do.
Another option for the Chris Harris trade, while we're still on that topic,
Hmm.
is, well, first off, the Rams and the Patriots are both options.
If we trade him to the Patriots, I will eat a Tide Pod.
Um, and because we both know that they love their corners and blah blah blah, and Talib and everyone else over there in St. Louis, and
Talib,
Peters
that would be Talib and Chris Harris reunited. That'd be fun.
and Marcus Peters. You're not passing on that team. And then of course the
I mean, you could
Patriots
just
and
throw
Gilmore
whoever is on Marcus Peters.
as a number 3 option though.
I
He's a
guess, yeah.
below average number 1 to me. Average number 2. He's not like complete trash. Um, so yeah, with that moving on. Oh yeah, and Seattle was the other one I was gonna throw out there. Again,
Yeah.
physical, aggressive zone corner, needed nickel to replace Justin Coleman. Seattle, and they have 2 firsts, which could be a game they'd be maybe more willing to give up a 29 or 22, knowing they have the other pick.
Let me say the three teams making the biggest push are the Texans, the
Oh,
Colts, and the Rams.
yeah, Colts and Rams, of course, make it. That's why I mentioned it with the
Yeah.
Colts.
But the Texans need a corner. But yeah, I'm like, I wouldn't. If we could get a second round pick, I would. The getting rid of Chris Harris under any situation would suck, but it'd be like, we totally didn't get destroyed value wise. It's pretty all right. So it's like after at a fine line, it's like I have to look at it. It's like the value we got is good, but losing it.
I would still hope you would get the first, whether it be 31, 32, 29, 26.
Yeah. It could be. What about like a third and Chris Harris for 31 or something?
I would take that if I'm the Rams.
Because you're not giving up 41. You're not giving up Chris Harris to trade up 10 spots.
Yep.
But like a third or a fourth with Chris Harris, that would be fun.
What's funny is, since we talked about the Colts quite a bit, you guys would be able to hop Oakland.
What if imagine the situation happened? We did 41 and Chris Harris for 23 and got Drew Lock and Devin Bush. I'd be like, okay, LA, you made that situation somehow good. So yeah, there's a decent chance Chris Harris is traded tomorrow, and I will be sad when that happens.
So back to Oakland here. What?
I was just saying. Anyway, moving on.
Oh yeah, back to Oakland here. We already gave them Drew Lock and defensive lineman.
Ed Oliver.
Yep. So edge is still a need if you want to go that path.
Cleveland, I think.
See there?
Yeah, I think if Josh Jacobs is here, they would go him.
Yep, Marshawn Lynch just retired yesterday.
Yes, but since he isn't, I think
an option. DeAndre Baker, Emmanuel Barrier, and
Cleveland Farrell, I think, would be the pick here because they just need pass. They need edge rushers bad. So yeah,
something to keep an eye on. Maybe they go edge with like Bosa or whatever at 4.
Yeah. No offense.
It could be an interesting fit there to give Carr or Locke or whoever another weapon.
Yeah.
And remember they did trade Amari Cooper, so wide receivers kind of not the greatest.
They did pay some guys though. While they have Antonio Brown, they paid Tyrell Williams. So I don't. Maybe like a day 2, but I don't think they will go at day 1.
Hollywood Brown could be a BPA fit.
Yeah.
In the slot, or maybe they put. I even think of this: Hollywood and Antonio Brown on the same team.
Yeah.
That would be really fun to watch. But yeah, for now, I guess we'll go with her. Unless there's another edge you want to. Chase Winovich will be interesting. Zach Allen could be a day 1 guy. You still want to go with Farrell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yo, so I'm just kind of scrolling around on Facebook on the side, and my guy still has a Happy New Year like thing on him. That's the thing.
Okay, so another division rival in the AFC West here, the LA Chargers.
Yes.
Needs include offensive tackle, defensive tackle, which is probably their number 1 in my opinion, wide receiver to replace Williams, and corner.
And also a quarterback. They could maybe go quarterback because they think Rivers is going to retire soon.
Jarrett Stidham in the first round. Heck yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
If they take Daniel Jones, I would do the whip. I think
for real, though, I don't think they're going quarterback in round 1. I think it's more of a day 2 pick.
Yeah, me too.
So, thoughts?
I mean, offensive I think Jerry Tillery could be a decent option there. So yeah, 29.
Seahawks. I already talked about them and possible trade options and Byron and Nasir and all that. So we'll just kind of skip right to the pick here. Is there anyone that really stands out to you at mainly edge, corner, like offensive line?
DeAndre Baker, I'm thinking, because, yeah. Never mind,
in
actually.
Scheme?
Yeah.
I don't like him in your cover 3.
Alright, let's see.
He might be like a really good talent, but he's more of a cover 2 or man type of guy.
Yeah,
You're kind of putting a square peg in a round hole.
fair enough.
I mean, granted, it's possible that they take him and try and develop him in some way. And granted, Seattle does have an interesting history of poor picks. But personally, I don't really like that fit.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Edge. I mean, they could maybe go Winovich.
Another Michigan guy to replace the Michigan guy?
That'd be interesting.
Let's do it.
All right.
They're kind of similar
Packers.
too, both 4-3 defensive end, run defending, high motor.
Yeah.
Difference is Chase Winovich is an extremely good character guy, and Clark is not.
Oh wait, didn't he like beat his girlfriend or something?
In college, yeah.
The Chiefs bringing on another domestic abuser.
Yeah.
Tough scene.
So, we already gave them Hawkinson. Of course, looking back in hindsight, that would have been a pretty interesting pick considering they would have had the chance to take Fant here. But for now, not an option. So, possible fix here. I'm actually considering one guy quite heavily here.
I want to see. What's the thing?
The Neeks?
No, I was saying who. I want to. Who's the player you're thinking of?
Might be a little bit of a surprise fit here again. Hollywood Brown.
Oh.
They've been talking. They were one of the teams that were really in Antonio,
Yeah.
and they really need a weapon opposite Devontae Adams. They lost Randall Cobb in the slot. Hollywood Brown would be basically a very, very good slot fit for them. Plus, adding 2 weapons to their offense, Hollywood and Hawkinson, their offense explodes with young talent.
Yeah.
Pair that with Aaron Jones, you have your wide receiver of the future with Hollywood Brown. You have your tight end of the future with Hawkinson. You have your running back of the future with
Yeah.
Aaron Jones. You're talking about one of the best offenses in the league with Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
So personally, I love him as a sleeper option here. On the other hand, if you think Cody Ford can play offensive tackle for them, he could be a potential fit to back up Bakhtiari and um, um, who's the other guy? Not Taylor. Taylor's a guard.
Um.
Bulaga. Brian Bulaga. Yes. So if you think that he can back up those guys, be the offensive tackle of the future, if you want to go that way in round 1, or they could also go with the safety in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, or if you prefer him, Abram.
Yeah. I'm thinking kind of this. Well, Josh Jones. Yeah, I forgot they had him.
Who's their other safety?
Amos. They got him.
Oh, they signed Emos. Okay, fair enough. Safety 3, but
It's like they could.
honestly, at this point, I would just say take Hollywood because they have
Why
safety
not?
and an offensive tackle.
Why not?
Boom. Packers offense fixed in one day.
Yeah.
Rams. Of course, Super Bowl runners up. Edge. Defensive
Yeah.
tackle to replace Sue. A linebacker to pair with Corey Littleton. And corner to play inside of Peters and Talib.
Keep Talib, Kansas. All right. Who are you thinking here?
Who are the linebackers left? You said no Cashman.
Well, he could, but it'd be a bit of a surprise.
Mac Wilson. Oh yeah, they talked him all the way to 83 because of that. Before he was way above Wilson. He was like 40s.
Yeah.
Okay, so corner.
DeAndre Baker.
Still, he's not really a slot. I mean, unless you're taking him and teaching him the slot to move him back outside. you probably want to start him day one at outside corner.
Yeah.
Linebacker we just looked at. Edge.
Ooh. Interior, Jeffrey Simmons.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, yeah, I don't mind it.
Cool.
I feel like 32. This pick's pretty easy.
Yep. But we will discuss some other options. Patriots, of course, have a ton of draft picks.
Yeah.
Edge rushers that could fall. Chase
What?
Winovich would be a great fit for them.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman, Jeffrey Simmons, who went one pick before them. Wide receivers, also interesting need. They could probably take someone like N'Keal Harry. Hollywood Brown would be oof in that offense. That would be incredibly difficult to stop him with Brady.
But yeah, no offense.
Cornerbacks, of course. I do actually kind of like the Baker fit for them in the second. Or if someone like Fant, who we're going to take here, doesn't fall, that would be a great fit for them.
Yeah.
Him and Gilmore would be a really nice duo, Baker.
Yeah.
Quarterback of the future is always going to be in the discussion.
Yeah.
And then safety depth, replacing Patrick Chung, backing up Devin McCourty, all that. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a great fit for them as well. But no way Fant slips out of round one, finishing it off with him. So, with that being said, recapping all the picks real quick here. Number 1, Kyler Murray, Arizona. Number 2, Nick Bosa to the 49ers. 3, Allen to the Jets. 4, Ed Oliver to the Raiders. 5, Dylan White to the Buccaneers. 6, Gary to the Giants. 7, Jawan Taylor to the Jags. 8, Quinn Williams to the Lions. 9, Jonah Williams to the Bills. Both Williams is going back to back. It's kind of funny. 10, Devin Bush to the wow, I just said Buccaneers. That could happen, by the way. Devin Bush to the Broncos at 10. Andre Dillard, number 11, to the Bengals. T.J. Hawkinson, 12, to the Packers. 13, Brady Williams to the Dolphins. 14, Wilkins to the Falcons. 15, Haskins to the Redskins. 16, Burns to the Panthers. 17, Jones to the Giants. 18, Garrett Bradbury to the Vikings. 19, Montez Sweat to the Titans. 20, Byron Murphy to the Steelers. 21, Nasir Adderley to the Seahawks. 22, DK Metcalf to the Ravens. 23, Titus Howard to the Texans. 24, Drew Lock to the Raiders. 25, Joshua Jacobs to the Eagles. 26, Dexter Lawrence to the Colts. 27, Cleveland Farrell to the Raiders. 28, Jerry Tillery to the Chargers. 29, Chase Winovich to the Seahawks. 30, Marquise Brown to the Packers. 31, Jeffrey Simmons to the Rams. And 32, Noah Fant to the Patriots. So, a couple of post-draft questions, if this is the draft that actually happens. Let's just talk about a couple of things here. Who do you think has the best total first round? Just in terms of grade, whether that be both picks, 3 picks, 1 pick, value, best player available, filling position in league, just total, all-encompassing draft.
I feel like best player, if Noah Fant falls to 32, that would pretty much be highway robbery. So I feel like the Patriots, if you're talking best one, but at the same time, the Raiders did pretty well with their 3 picks.
And Oliver, Cleveland Farrell, and Drew Lock.
Yeah.
That's 2 really good defensive linemen in your quarterback of the future.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that those 3 would be that's a pretty good draft for them. But I feel like if you're talking the best pick, just single pick, it'd have to be the Patriots with Fant at 32. It would be a steal if they took him.
Interesting. I also really like of course, part of this is personal preference, but I also really like the Winovich and Adderley picks for Seattle. Adderley would be so good for them, replacing Earl Thomas. He's one of my favorite players in the class. I have him top 10 in my grade board. definitely a playmaker. I see a lot of similarities there. The difference is Adderley can stay healthy, whereas Earl Thomas has a little bit more experience. So you got Adderley some playing time early in that kind of role, and the skill sets are very eerily similar.
Also, another one pick thing that would be great is the Lions.
Yeah, Quinn Williams at 8 would get half the state excited.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we kind of, looking back at it, like we probably should have given the Giants Williams just out of pure BPA.
I thought about giving the Bucks or Jets or Raiders.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we went Kyler Murray 1, when in all actuality, I wouldn't be surprised if Quinn went 1.
Yeah.
But that would have caused Kyler Murray to fall, and that would have put all sorts of things out of balance.
FUD.
Yeah.
I kind of hope Kyler Murray doesn't go 1. That'd just be fun.
Well, let's just really quick. We'll start with the top 10.
Yeah.
Make this kind of quick. If you go Bosa who would you take 1, Bosa or Quinnen?
Personally, I take Bosa, but let's just say Quinnen goes 1.
Okay, Quinnen 1, Bosa you stay at 2, Allen 3.
Yeah, and then
okay, so
Kyler 4.
Kyler 4. Okay, so where does Oliver fall?
Probably
5.
I think they still take Devin White.
Okay, Giants maybe.
Probably the Giants.
He'd be a better fit for the Giants than Quinnen.
Yeah, I think the Giants would take him.
Okay, so where does Gary fall?
Oof, that's tough. Because it's like shoulder could maybe be like a team like the Panthers or the Miami could definitely be a fit.
I really like him in versatile front. You can play him at 4-3 and 3-4 end.
All right, so we'll just say Miami.
Be a fit for the Dolphins with Flores. Okay, so where does Greedy fall?
Don't know. Maybe Pittsburgh.
Okay, yeah, so Byron to 21, and then Adderley probably 29.
Yeah. Then Winovich maybe
into the second or the 32 if Fant rises.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a basic scenario for you guys changing some things up if Kyler doesn't go 1.
Yeah. Which that would make the draft a lot more fun if that doesn't happen.
Oh, and then who would we take?
Who would I take if the Lions?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I would assume we would go with Devin Bush at that point.
Yeah, which would then probably have the Broncos taking Locke.
Yep. So
and then at 24,
the Raiders would take
Jacobs.
Okay, and then the Eagles.
What else do they really need, though?
Offensive tackle behind Peters, long term. Cody Ford at offensive tackle.
Sure, why not? Then I guess
I personally view him as more of a guard, but
yeah, why not? So yeah.
Interesting. So, also, we talked about best drafts and other possible situations. What about a worst draft? Is there a team that you would not want to be in this instance?
The Giants.
Okay, other than the Giants?
I don't know. It's just like a lot of these picks, it's like they're solid. Maybe the Texans. Not necessarily. It's just because you need a offensive line bad, and taking a guy like Howard's a big gamble.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we're not the Giants, probably them, just based on how big of a gamble it is.
Fair enough. But honestly, I think a lot of these teams should be feeling really happy with their day one tomorrow if this were the case.
Yeah.
I think we both did pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. The only pick looking back at it I'm iffy on is the Rashawn Gary to the Giants, but it's whatever. But Gettleman's an idiot, so I could exactly see that happening. Not saying Gary's a bad player, but he's not better than Quinnen Williams.
I think he's a better I mean, Quinn Williams, you're really looking at 3-tech,
I
who can
mean,
also play 1.
yeah.
So, if you need to, you can probably put him at nose. And if you need to, you might be able to get away with him at 5. But to me, he's more of an interior run defender.
My thing is, my counter to that would be, did Bradley Chubb really fit as a 3-4 in a 3-4 scheme at outside linebacker?
Not necessarily.
Exactly, but he was that good enough to where we made it work. So I feel like the Giants could maybe do something where it's like a player is that good that will make it work.
Fair enough. All right. If you could make one trade in this mock, and one team rises or falls, whether that be trading up in the first to take a player, or trading back out of the first, or trading back in the first, what idea do you think would be either most likely or the best you pick?
The best, it would be the Broncos to number 1 for a 7th. I'm joking, obviously. Honestly, I think realistically, it sounds like the Redskins are going to trade up. So I feel like it'd probably be to them. Because, I don't know, Haskins probably doesn't make it to. It could be, I think it'll be like.
There's going to be a team that trades ahead of them before he falls to 15.
Yeah, so I feel like it'd be like the Redskins to the Jets for 3 to take Haskins or Jones, which if they trade to number 3 to take Daniel Jones, I will laugh my ass off. I'm like, and I put a comment, I'm like, the people that would be most excited at that happening would be Giants fans.
Yep.
They'd throw a goddamn parade if that happened.
Well, not only because they wouldn't be taking Daniel Jones, but also
he's
because
in the
of the division.
Yeah. And they gave up a bunch of picks for that to happen. Yeah, so Giants fans would throw a parade if the Redskins traded up to 3 to get Daniel Jones. So yeah, I feel like that's one of the more likely things to happen. Also, I don't know. It's also possible that if they overpay a little bit, in this scenario that the Falcons would trade up to go get Quinnen.
Okay, interesting. Instead of Oliver?
Well, I'm saying in this scenario when Oliver's not available.
Yeah, to trade up to get Quinnen instead of Oliver falling.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I think if I was the Lions, I'd ask for more than normal because Quinnen is worth more because he's that good.
I would probably take at least a second.
Yeah, it'd take at least a second, obviously on top of 14.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd take at least a second.
Cool. So any other overarching thoughts on this? Just in general?
Press F to press F to pay respects to me, who got a Chris Harris jersey for Christmas. Yeah, that probably wasn't the best move looking at it. I probably should have went with Chubb. But oh well, whatever.
Or Vaughn.
I already have one. A Vaughn. Yeah, I have.
Get the other color. Get the white.
Well, I like to change things up. Damn it. All right, so yeah, it's just. Well, it's officially draft day for me as of 40 minutes ago. So yeah.
You know what you should have done?
What?
You should have gotten a custom jersey and Drew Lock.
I'm not doing that until he's good, damn it. I'm not doing that until he's... Like, I was talking with Nick, because I don't think I told you the story. So, I was a kid. My first ever Broncos jersey was Jay Cutler.
Okay, I mean, it could have been a lot
We
worse.
traded him the week after I got it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, my dad was pretty pissed off. Not only because we traded him for Kyle fucking Orton, but because he was like, oh my lord, what the hell? Yeah, that was the first Broncos jersey. Yeah. Well, obviously minus, as an infant, but a legitimate jersey was Jay Cutler, which, not that Cutler was pretty good in Denver, honestly.
He was, yeah.
Like, my comparison for Drew Lock is Jay Cutler minus the personality of him being an asshole. Like Jay Cutler.
Yeah, I see it.
So yeah, that whoever we take, I will not be buying their jersey until I get confirmation that they will be good and will be remaining around.
Honestly, if we take Devin Bush,
It'll be immediate.
I don't necessarily think it would be immediate, but like I have money saved up just in case.
Yeah, so
I've been that big of a fan of him for that long. I was thinking about getting a Michigan one.
yeah.
If he goes to the Lions, regardless of how good he is, after that.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah. Any other just typical thoughts?
If we have to
Good
cut
picks,
off
bad
now
picks?
because I'll be rambling on for about an hour because that's what I do when I get tired.
Okay.
So probably best if we cut it off now.
Alrighty. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the mock. Hopefully your team ended up taking a player that you like or think is a good fit at least. Hope you
Or
guys enjoy.
hopefully you're not a Giants fan.
But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Learned a thing or two about maybe some other teams if you guys are doing a mock of your own. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff. I don't think we actually have a Facebook anymore.
No.
But yeah, Twitter
We got
mainly.
zucked.
Twitter mainly. And yeah, comment, let us know your thoughts below on how you think your team made out with the mock. But yeah, for now, hope you guys have a great rest of your draft day. We'll see you guys again very soon. But for now, peace out.